Hey, Thomas from Field Tennis. Today I have another video for you recorded from the top-down view. These are the forehand and backhand volley techniques. You can observe them in great detail in super slow motion, and I will also share some of my views on the volley techniques from this top-down perspective. And my question to you is, what do you find very interesting watching the volley techniques from this top-down view? Please share your views in the comments below. So what are some of the keys of the forehand volley that we can observe here in slow motion? So the first one I would like to point out is the preparation, where I'm also using my non-dominant hand to help me prepare with the racket. So common mistake is that players often they go in the preparation or in even on a backswing with their hitting arm alone, and that does not give the racket enough stability, and this arm will also tend to swing too much. So notice how I am pushing back the racket with my non-dominant arm and also immediately creating some leg or some wristband, some extension in the wrist, so that the wrist is going to be stable at contact. So that's the first thing, preparation with the non-dominant hand and both arms oriented in this way. Too many times players release this arm too quickly this way and then they're kind of spread their wings like this. Now the second thing we can observe from this starting position is that from this starting position I did not immediately go with my left foot to the right, so I'm a right-hander, but I started first transferring weight to the outside foot. You can see that I transferred weight to the outside foot and I'm very stable now, and over this foot I now transfer weight into the ball. So do not immediately go with this foot over, because you will be falling into the ball, you will not be stable. So you want to find good stability on the outside foot and then you can cross over. Now this ball that I'm receiving is not super fast ball, I have enough time to step, so I step before I hit. So that's like a standard volley where you're able to step. Now sometimes you're not able if the ball is faster. So what really matters is that you're very stable on the outside foot and that you're transferring weight into the ball and you're gonna make contact with the ball before you step. Let me know in the comments below if you would like me to record some of these variations from the drone. Some of the volley variations. Alright, now the next thing that's important to notice, the most common instruction on the volley is keep your racket in front of you or don't make a backswing, and many times that is misunderstood. And when players are afraid to make a backswing because coaches told them there is no backswing on the volley, they never lag their wrist, there is no extension in the wrist, and then the wrist is not stable and or is too stiff and you have no punch. You can see that I can use my hand to punch the ball or slice the ball or control it, but I can use my wrist to apply extra force or slice on the ball. And so on a normal volley, like not super fast volley to volley situation, but on a normal volley, this is the position you want to end up in. And what matters is that you're not afraid, so you can see that the racket head goes behind me, but that is not like definition of a backswing. The problem of a backswing, too much backswing, is the arm. And so if my arm was here behind me, then that would have been too much of a backswing. But if we go from the beginning and you observe where is my arm right now, and I go into the volley, you can see that my arm is not really swinging back, it's just going a little bit to this position. And so I do not have a backswing. I did not put my arm back, but I did create an extension in my wrist, and so that the racket head did go back. So again, this is just a typical standard volley, so that you see basic forehand volley technique. So do not be afraid to create an extension in your wrist, to bend your wrist in the volley. So that does not mean it's a backswing. If your arm is here more in front of you to the side, you will be fine, you will time the ball well in front of you. Now the next thing we can observe when we're hitting the ball is how I control the follow through. So you can see that the arm here wants to point in the direction, so I volleyed this ball. You can't see here, but I volleyed this ball cross court, not at super sharp angle, but it's going cross court. So what I'm trying to do to help control the ball, I want to feel that I have a long line in the direction of the target, and I don't want to turn the strings too quickly away while I'm going through contact. And so the way I control that is I control the finish, where I don't let the racket swing around and I don't let my arm swing around, but rather I want to keep this line with the arm, and I want to keep my wrist still in this position so that I am aware that I feel that the strings are still more or less pointing towards the target. So again, the common mistake is when players volley like this is they just let the racket swing. They feel like they've hit the ball, like in baseball. They feel, okay, the ball is gone and now I can do whatever I want, but that's not how we control direction of the ball. In tennis, on most strokes, we want to keep a long line in the direction of where we're hitting, and when it comes to volleys, you can use this guideline of trying to keep your strings more or less pointed in the direction of the target. By the way, if you struggle with volley consistency, power or accuracy, take a look at my free volley course where I dispel 4 of the most common volley myths, like there is no backswing on the volley, you must always step into the ball, or volley is a short punch. As long as you believe these myths, you will be stuck at the same level. So join the free course, the link is in the description or in the card above, and I will see you on the other side with all the answers. So what are some of the keys of the backhand volley technique? So let's start again with the preparation. Now, in case of the backhand volley, players usually do not make a backswing too big because they are used to holding the racket with a non-dominant hand, and that kind of prevents free flailing of the racket around. And so usually that is not a problem, but they can still go a bit too far with the arm. So what I want to show you here, first of all, that you notice that obviously preparation is done with both hands, and that this hand is pulling the racket back from the original position. And also that you're not afraid again to go back with the racket head, because if you're under the impression that there is no backswing on the volley, then you will try to align your racket more like this, and you will have very short distance to the ball, which I'm going to show next. So that is the first thing, is that preparation again is done with the unit turn and both arms back, and that the racket head does go behind the body. Now what is important in terms of backswing and having good timing is that your arm does not go too much behind, because then it's very difficult to time the ball. So notice where my arm is in this phase, and if I go to contact, you can see that my arm did not move much, so it moved from here to here. A little bit is also my weight transfer. So if I try again and I show you that without my weight transfer, so once I start moving the arm, so my arm is here and I'm extending my arm to contact, so this is all the movement of my arm to contact. See, that's the whole distance of the arm, but the racket moves from here to here, and so that is enough distance to build up speed to the ball. And this distance allows me, short distance of the arm, allows me not to be late, because it is not difficult to time the ball with such kind of a short move of the arm to the ball. So the arm moves way less than the racket head. And again, if you think that there is no backswing and you're afraid to go back with the racket head, then you're going to align the racket here, and then you will have, so your racket will be here, and now you're going to have very short distance to the contact point and you will have no power. So I think that's very important to see and also to notice from this point of view. And then the next point, in terms of controlling the ball's direction, is very similar concept or same concept as on the forehand volley. So as you can see, I'm volleying this ball cross court. It goes in that direction a little bit. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to extend my arm long in a straight line that leads towards the target. So I'm trying to extend my arm long, and I'm trying not to change the angles of the racket, right? So this was the angle of the racket at contact, and as I continue through contact, I'm trying to keep the strings pointed more or less towards the target. So that is going to help you with precision. Now another element that helps me achieve this straight line, so through contact and extending my arm, is of course not turning my shoulders. So as you can see, as I align here and I'm about to hit the ball, this is the alignment of my shoulders. And if I go a bit further and I complete the shot, you can see that the alignment is the same. And so I did not rotate through the shot with my shoulders, and that allows me to move the racket in a straight line towards the target, and that gives me a very good precision of my shots.